Alright, so we're playing something new. It's a PlayStation game. Oh, come on. It's Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh Preschool from 2002. It's really cute. It's a really cute game. I was thinking of doing more Sesame Street, but, the other game that someone suggested was on the PC, and I just spent the last 2 days writing a paper, so I kind of didn't want to be on my PC, so, you know.
Here our story begins, deep in the heart of a most remarkable place called the 100-Acre Wood. And in this forest there lives a bear named Winnie the Pooh, or Pooh for short.
Which would be me. And I'm so glad you've come by for a visit so we could... Oh, my tumbly's a bit rumbly this morning.
Now Pooh, though a bear of very little brain, soon began to think that something was not as it should be.
Oh, yes, I know you're hungry. You generally are. Perhaps there's something more? My insides are trying to tell my outside something, but neither of us know what it is. Think.
This is a long intro.
Pooh thought the more Pooh was sure he was forgetting something important.
Do you remember? Neither do I. Think. The last thing I forgot to remember was Eeyore's birthday. So that must be it. Today must be Eeyore's birthday. Let's go tell the others, and we'll give Eeyore a birthday party he shall never forget.
And so Pooh went off to tell his friends the very grand news.
Alright. Gonna load. I hate the PlayStation loading times.
Now then, whom shall I tell first?
I think we're gonna go hang out with Kanga, because we can have
Kanga
some
lives
alphabet
here.
soup.
Kanga and Roo live here.
Perhaps I shall visit Kanga and young Roo. Excuse me, but did you know that today, of all days, is a rather special day for Eeyore? Because you see, it is his birthday. Would you like to come along to his party?
Why, of course. Roo and I were just making some alphabet soup. If you'll help us finish 3 batches, we'll be happy to come along.
Oh, I should be very glad to help. Perhaps our
It
friend
actually
can
takes
help
a
with the
really long
helping
time.
too.
Takes a really long time to make these. Oh, loading screens. Love it.
If you take a quick look at the alphabet cookbook, you'll see that the gray letters are missing from the soup.
Yeah, so
Find the
you have to
matching
add the
noodles
letters to the soup.
Hooray!
And of course you're using the
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the
And they only
moment.
have so many quotes they say. So
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
it's a really cute one.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it? Oh, how lovely.
Yes, how lovely. I'm gonna get sick of using that.
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside and out.
I think our alphabet soup is all ready now.
You would think there would be one part, but it's not.
That was some swell soup making.
See
Let's
that
make
bar
more.
at the top? You gotta fill that up to be done one. Little clock there.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
Gee,
The soup looks good enough to eat.
It's actually a real peanut. Doing it with the kitty.
Why, thank you, dear.
Oh, she just looks like a mouse.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
Tastes even better when you add a letter.
I think you made a super soup.
Why don't we all make some more soup?
You found a missing letter.
The soup looks good enough to eat.
I sure hope so. That's what you do with soup.
You found a missing
My
letter.
mom made so much minestrone and or minestrone or whatever you call it. And
Hooray!
oh, it's so good. I'm gonna have some more for lunch tomorrow.
How lovely. The soup's done. Isn't that wonderful? Let's make some more soup, shall we?
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
The next level of it is got some veg.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
Tastes even better when you add a letter. Soup.
Oh, how lovely.
Oh, how lovely.
S?
I tried to pick that up, but it didn't work apparently.
Why, thank you, dear.
Used to PlayStation controls.
That's the best alphabet soup I ever saw.
We'd love to have you help some more.
I'm still hoping.
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside and out.
I sure hope so. I'm almost 22.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment.
I actually used to impress all my friends in like kindergarten because I knew the alphabet
Well,
backwards.
that's a fine job, isn't it?
But that's because there's a song to go with it.
Gee,
If there's a song, you can learn anything.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
That's why I also know the alphabet in French.
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside and out.
And then you take that in school.
The soup looks good enough to eat.
It helps you figure things out.
You found the ABCs easy as 1, 2, 3.
Let's do it again. Wanna?
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
No.
You found a missing letter. Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup. It tastes even better when you add a letter. Soup's on!
we'd love to have you help some more.
I hope not 2 more. I think it's just 1. Maybe it's 2. I don't know. Only because last one only had like 4 letters.
Hooray!
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment.
Oh, how
Becoming
lovely.
soupier by the moment. What else would it be?
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
I sure hope you're not mocking me, Kanga.
Why, thank you, dear.
Controls are not
Hooray! Soup's on!
Oh no, I have to do 1 more.
Isn't that wonderful? Let's make some more soup, shall we? W.
And if you hover over number 2, you should actually see
The soup looks good enough to eat.
Oh, how lovely.
Why?
Why?
You found a missing letter.
Z, Y, X, and W, V, E, T, S.
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
O, N, M, L, C, J,
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside and out.
D, C, B, A.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
It is. It is, King.
How lovely. The soup's done.
Finally.
Oh, isn't this wonderful? Only 2 more batches to go.
Click here. As the cookbook shows, the greyish letters are missing from the soup. Just drop the missing food or noodle in the soup and you'll be done in the...
Why, thank you, dear.
Times here, like E, eggplant. I'm not sure what...
I'm so very glad you came along to
But
help.
I personally would not add grapes to my soup.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
I would not add fig to my soup.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment. The soup looks good enough to eat.
Why, thank you, dear. S, sausage.
Sausage. You don't need sausage when you're doing
S, sausage.
tomato. That's a good thing.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't
Makes
it?
sense, but I hate zucchini.
I think our alphabet soup is all ready
Oh,
now.
sorry if you heard that.
Let's do it again. Wanna?
It's a bean.
B,
You just
Bean.
got beaned. I don't know
Yummy! I can't wait to have
We're
some
down
soup.
at one time. Man, this takes me a long time.
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside and out.
Well, I guess walnuts are in here. I don't think that's very good.
oh, how lovely.
It's kind of weirdly.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
Thank you, dear. You know, there's no E that tastes better than an egg.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
M, mushroom.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment.
Mushrooms. You found a missing letter.
I think you made a super soup.
Why don't we all make some more soup?
An apple.
S, sausage. A, apple.
That's disgusting.
Hooray!
Apple.
Apples make
Fig
soup
in
good
alphabet
and
soup.
sweet.
Sure.
Why,
A
you
potato,
know
I
your
like
alphabet
potatoes,
backward
potatoes.
and forward and inside and out.
Why, thank you, dear.
What's this?
Q, quince.
A quince. I cannot tell that.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
I mean, sausage works in the
Q
soup, not that
is
I
for
eat
quince.
sausage.
That's a kind of...
Hooray!
Why, yam.
I
You
love
found a
yams.
missing letter.
Well, I mean, sweet potatoes.
Oh, how
They
lovely.
use them interchangeably here, but yams
Oh,
and sweet
yams
potatoes
are yummy. Or is
Wait,
it
I will eat
yums are yummy?
That's
Is
the
that-
best alphabet soup I ever saw.
Don't let them fool you. God, is it sad?
That was some swell soup making. Let's make more.
Zucchini.
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
Neither can I. I just really want to get this done.
The soup looks good enough to eat.
Oh my God, you're putting watermelon in it. That is some
I'm
nasty
so
soup,
very
King.
glad you came along to help.
I know. W's for watermelon.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment.
It's becoming more disgusting by the moment.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
The soup.
A. Asparagus.
Oh, and it's gonna have asparagus in it too. And a beet.
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup. You found a missing letter.
You found the ABCs easy as 1, 2, 3.
Isn't that wonderful? Let's make some more soup, shall we?
Cauliflower.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
Yeah, 'cause you're doing absolutely nothing, Pooh.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside and out.
Q.
The soup looks good enough to eat.
Hooray!
S. Sausage.
Oh, there's an O.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment.
Soup's on!
I would say 2 more.
Why don't we all make some more soup? W. Watermelon. Why,
So glad
thank
we
you,
haven't
dear.
had to add grapes.
W. Watermelon.
Bean.
Oh, how
Love
lovely.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment. The soup looks good enough to eat.
Sorry if I blew in the mic.
Apples make soup good and sweet.
Frustrated.
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside and out.
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
Mushrooms.
Yeah, I like mushrooms.
I think our alphabet soup is all ready now.
Sliced very thin.
Let's do it again. Wanna?
I have no choice. I have to keep going.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
Why, thank you, dear. R. Raspberry.
I would not add a raspberry to this soup.
Hooray!
U.
You found a missing letter. It tastes even better when you add a letter.
Oh, how lovely.
You found a missing letter.
Oh,
They
yums
put their
are
own
yummy.
thing on it.
Or is it yums are yum? I think you made a super soup.
We'd love to have you help some more. P. Pepper.
Hooray!
L. Lettuce. Oh, how lovely. Q is for quince. That's a kind of fruit.
Yummy! I can't
Thanks
wait
for
to have
telling
some
me
soup.
something I already knew.
W, walnut. D,
I thought I picked that up.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
A,
The soup looks good enough to eat.
Oh no,
P,
we're
pepper.
adding grapes.
Why,
That
the soup's becoming
is
soupier by the moment.
disgusting. I hope
Well,
Eeyore's not
that's
eating
a
this.
fine
Eeyore would have
job,
a really
isn't
bad
it?
birthday if he did.
How lovely. The soup's done. How lovely. Just one more batch and we'll be ready for Eeyore's party.
One more batch.
Look at the greyish letters in the cookbook to see what's missing from the soup. When you find a food that begins with that letter, add it to the pot.
Why, you know your alphabet backward.
Why, thank you, dear.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
This is some nasty
Q
soup.
is
The soup looks good enough to eat.
Trying to do this quicker.
oh, how lovely.
Pressing down to try and make it go diagonal.
Why, you know your
Which it
alphabet
sometimes
backward
wants
and
to,
forward
sometimes
and
won't.
inside and out.
That's the best alphabet soup I ever saw. That was some swell soup making. Let's make more.
Z, zucchini.
You found a missing letter. Apples make soup. Hooray! Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
These ones are a little easier to grab though,
It tastes
so
even better when you add a letter.
that's a little better at least.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment.
Because they're bigger, so it's
That's
easier
a
to
fruit.
pick up than the little
You found
letters.
the ABCs
Oh, I got
easy
stuck.
as 1, 2, 3.
We'd love to have you help some more. T, turnip.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
Why, thank
I'm
you,
not so
dear.
sure about how I feel about this anymore.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment. Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside.
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
Oh no, I gotta put a raspberry in it.
It tastes even better when you add a letter.
How lovely. The soup's
I don't know
done.
why that music played differently for a little bit.
Why
That
don't
freaked
we
me
all
out.
make some more soup?
Oh, thank God the music started again.
The soup looks good enough
That
to
was
eat.
really creepy.
Apples make soup. Good, Aunt. You found a missing letter.
As far as soups go, you can't beat a beat.
You can't
Hooray!
beat a beat. Maybe not.
Why, thank you, dear. Oh, how lovely.
Mushrooms.
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
I think our alphabet
Halfway
soup is
there.
all ready now. Isn't that wonderful? Let's make some more soup, shall we? C, cauliflower. Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
Q, well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
Why, thank you, dear.
Oh, I
The
can't believe I
soup
gotta put
looks
grapes
good
in
enough
this.
to eat.
Soup
I
time!
can't believe that.
Let's do it again. Wanna?
Oh, I finally get to put a carrot in soup.
Carrot.
Something normal.
You found a missing
Not
letter.
that, like, zucchini isn't normal, but you know.
Hooray!
Why, the soup's becoming soupier by the moment.
Q.
Why, you...
Oh, how
I did
lovely.
not like that. I think it might be when I accidentally
Pepper.
click on the cookbook. So how
That
about I
tastes even
just don't
better
do
when you
that?
add a letter. Mmm. That's the best
Also, it's like
alphabet
the middle
soup
of the night when
I
I'm
ever
recording this,
saw.
so everything seems super creepy.
That was some swell soup making. Let's make more.
Disgusting.
Why, thank you, dear.
I know. W's for watermelon. It tastes even better when you add a letter.
Watermelon and grapes and sausage.
Why, you know your alphabet backward and forward and inside.
Hooray!
Oh, and we get to
Oh,
put
how
raspberry
lovely.
in it too.
The soup looks good enough to eat.
I don't think the soup
You
looks good
found
for
the
eating.
ABCs easy as 1, 2, 3.
Why don't we all make some more soup?
Last one, corn
I'm so very glad you came along to help.
and grapes,
You found a missing letter.
lettuce.
Why, the soup's becoming soupier
Sausage.
by the moment.
Yummy! I can't wait to have some soup.
Well, that's a fine job, isn't it?
Hooray!
And finally, zucchini.
Q is for quince. That's a kite.
I think you made a super soup.
I don't think I put peas in it once.
Thank you, dear, for all your wonderful help. Now we have a lovely present for Eeyore's party and some delicious soup for us, too.
Some nasty soup.
I can't wait till the party starts. See you there.
Yes, we'll see you when the party begins, if not before.
And now I must think. Who shall I tell about Eeyore's birthday next?
All right,
Kanga
so we
and Roo
finished.
live here.
We finished Kanga's alphabet soup. Next time I'm not sure what we'll do, but I'll see you then. Bye.